I've heard you put down about everybody that's run for president lately. Who should we be looking at for the next election?
Nobody that they offer you. See, you don't have a choice. You don't choose who runs, and you think that if you elect one or the other, that you're going to get a good choice. I'm telling you, it doesn't matter who you elect if the people didn't choose them, and the people never do. Not only that, but there's a misconception in this country. You think your vote counts. Your vote doesn't count. The president is elected by the Electoral College, not the popular vote.
What are we going to do?
Well, we've got to wake up, number one. The biggest goal, the biggest task that we have in front of us is to educate the millions of sheeple that inhabit this country and the world. It's not just us that's in danger, it's the entire world. The New World Order will be a totalitarian socialist government. A benevolent despotism is what those at the top call it.
I don't even understand that.
Most people don't.
I don't even understand that. So what do you suggest we do?
Well,
just sit back and...
No, don't sit back. You need to...
AK-47 and...
No. You should have something on hand in case everything falls apart to protect yourself, your family, and your community. But what I'm advocating is that if enough of us wake up and really become responsible and understand really what's happening and how the system works and understand that this is not a democracy, it's a republic, and democracies never work. They always deteriorate into socialism, and then a dictator rises up and takes charge. And eventually, if democracy lasts that long, it destroys itself with immorality and licentiousness. Look at the old Roman Empire, which began as a democracy. Look at all the democracies that sprang up and tried to survive in the past. Look what happened to them. You see, when you have one man, one vote, the people basically are selfish. They're greedy. They always vote themselves everything that they can possibly get until there's nothing left and everything disintegrates. If you want to sit back and let it happen, well, that's your choice, but I'm not sitting back and letting it happen. I'm just one person just like you. Educate your family, educate your neighbors, educate your community. Take our country back. As a republic, become once again what we were intended to be. Of, for, and by the people means that we have to know everything that's happening in Washington all the time. We are supposed to be the arbiters of our own fate. We must be the watchdogs of our government. We began as sovereign kings in our own right when this country was formed, and the government was our chattel servant. We are quickly becoming the property of the government, which is becoming, once again, the Roman Empire. Now, this will eventually collapse too, but when it collapses, it will collapse into anarchy, and race wars will begin to rage across the landscape, and people will kill you for a can of spinach in your cabinet.
And I asked you, should I go and buy me a gun and protect myself? And you said no.
No, that's not what I said. I said that you should have those items on hand to protect yourself, your family, and your community. Didn't I?
I should already have that stuff already bought.
That's right. That's why our forefathers gave us the second article and amendment to the Constitution, was so that we could protect ourselves against a government should it become despotic and oppressive. And from
It's coming. I believe that. It's coming.
Yes, it is coming.
Very fast.
The purpose of this program is to wake the sheeple, empower the people, and try to save this nation and thus freedom for the world. You see, if we lose our Constitution and Bill of Rights, freedom will fall everywhere in the world that it exists. This is the only place in the world that has a chance to stave off socialism. Socialism has always destroyed everything that it has ever touched. It takes everything away from you, including your dignity and self-respect. And you reach a state of total dependency, where the government becomes your father and you become a helpless child. And you pretend to work, and they pretend to pay you. Is that what you want?
Poor fools. Poor fools living under the delusion that the president cares what he thinks. And as bad as that may sound, it's absolutely true. I want you to all listen to me very carefully. You're being led into an illusion that the popular vote elects the president. The purpose of that is to convince you that this nation is a democracy, which it is not, never was, and never could be. Get that through your thick heads. This is a constitutional republic where your vote counts is on a local level. You can elect local officials and state officials. Above that, you have absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with it. The federal government has no jurisdiction within the states. Listen to me carefully. The federal government has no jurisdiction within the territorial boundaries of the states, and therefore cannot request you to vote, nor can your vote count. You vote for your local officials, city, county, and state. That's as far as your vote counts, period. Oh, I know, I'm really making some of you mad right now. You're jumping up and hopping around on one leg and hitting, bouncing off the wall. Who is this guy? Well, how dare he say that? I dare it, ladies and gentlemen, because I have a brain and I use it, which is more than I can say for most of you. They're with our rights, our Creator-endowed rights, our sovereignty, our borders, our ability to defend ourselves. You see, we are deep into it. So deeply into it that we've reached the point that I believe that if by some miracle we could awaken the vast numbers of American people, we could turn it around. But I'm also realistic enough to know that we're not even going to approach waking up that many people, because most people won't even listen to the truth, much less go check it out to make sure that it is the truth, and then they won't do anything about it. Many of you listening to this broadcast have been listening for years. You know what the truth is. You've gone out and looked it up. You know that we're telling you the truth, yet you still sit on your couch and do nothing. Nothing except listen to the radio. Nothing. Pass rumor back and forth. Pretend to be a patriot. Truth is, you're just sheeple. Some people justify they do by saying, well, I went along with this because it's the lesser of two evils. The lesser of two evils is still evil. A vote for evil is a vote for evil. Whether it's lesser or greater, it is evil. Whether it's a vote, a decision, acceptance by passivity. You see, you can disagree, dislike, hate something, be totally against it, but if you never open your mouth and say anything, you have accepted it because you have been passive. The basis of all law is that if you do not claim your rights and defend them to the death, you are not entitled to any rights. It's always been the basis of all of the law. It's where the law comes from. You see, there can be no law without force of law. What is the force of law? It's the barrel of a gun, ladies and gentlemen.